his name is longer than Peachtree Street in Atlanta. Jermaine FunnyMaine Johnson. I mean, could you have added a few more things to that?
Sound, more important than I am. But thank you for having me, Paul.
SEC fans, especially those in Alabama, have been very familiar with FunnyMaine. He is a comedian and really a very successful comedian. Birmingham's produced some pretty famous comedians. Roy Wood, of course.
Yes, sir.
And you may be the next one to turn the world upside down. Tell us about how all this started.
Yeah, I've been a Bama fan all my life. My mom's Tuscaloosa girl, so
You look like a Finebaum caller, by the way.
Right. So I ain't have any choice but to root for Bama. But the comedy thing just came from being a class clown, and like you said, my guy Roy Wood Jr., Ricky Smiley. I watched all these guys come up, and well, you know him well. You a Birmingham boy for a little while there.
Well,
I can't wait to drop your name when I get back home.
Well,
know you. Some free meals maybe.
I can tell you a few places that you don't want to go. But it's being the class clown. I was kind of that guy. I never thought about being a comedian because I think I think it's too hard.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jeff Foxworthy, in fact. He was here a couple of years ago, and he told me about the first time he was on The Tonight Show, and he had a 7-minute monologue, and something went wrong, and they said, as he was going on, they said, you got 4.5 minutes, and you got to do a lot of improvising.
Yeah, well, people say it's hard, but it's like anything in life, Paul. You do it long enough, it gets easier, but just having fun on stage and knowing that you got to bring smiles to people. Nobody cares what you went through that day. Once you get on that stage, you just got to do your thing.
Comedy, I'll tell you a funny story. I spoke at this big event about 20 years ago in Montgomery, and the guy afterwards told me, he said, that was great.
Yeah.
He said, well, we want you back next year. So he called me a couple of months later. He said, what you did was good. We want you to be funny, though. And I'm like going, so I called a friend of mine. You may, a guy named Joe Hobby. He's a comedian. He used to write for Jay Leno. He said, he gave me a joke. He said, you know where I'm going here? He said, this is going to kill.
Yeah.
He said, it's my best joke. So I get up in front of these about 2,000 or 3,000 lawyers.
Yeah.
First joke.
And the stares.
It did not get a laugh. Yeah, I mean, it didn't get like a snicker.
Yeah.
It didn't get a laugh.
Yeah.
And I had 25 more minutes of B material. It was so bad, FunnyMaine, that I was actually enjoying it because I was still getting paid,
right,
and I was going to get out of there
helps.
so fast. And you know what that's like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like sports, man. It's next play. We say, next joke up, but it's tough when you start off bad.
What's the most important joke when you do a routine?
The first three. The first
three
jokes. If you can get them those first three jokes, the rest should be a breeze. And that's kind of, like in football. The first three drives, if you can lock in and get them.
So the first three, do you end on what's the psychology of ending?
My psychology ending, like you said, you think about the check. So you want to get out of there as fast as you can, make sure they got that check printed, and just, thank everybody for coming out. Yeah.
Okay, for those who haven't seen you in action, this is just, we're going to show this. And so I think, is this the game?
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is FunnyMaine, who's doing this during the game, 14-10. 14-17.
Yeah, I like to take my emotions, what I'm feeling during the game, and those are all real emotions, man, because it was very stressful, and I think this is when the play happened, the Milrow catch, and I still just didn't know what happened, man. It was shocking.
What were you doing during that play?
I was sitting in the car. Yeah, I was sitting in the car. We were at a watch party at a bar in downtown Birmingham. I didn't like the mojo in the building. So late in the fourth quarter, I turned on my phone and watched the game there alone. And apparently it worked because that play right there happened, man. So I'll do it again if I need to. I change shirts. I'm very
you've done comedy clubs all over the country.
Right.
When things go well, what is there? Is it more the audience than the material?
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
It's a combination. If you can relate to the audience or give them relatable material, and you got them in, and they're looking at you smiling and laughing, it's like an out-of-body feeling, man. But it feels good when they're just rocking with you and you're telling your stories and they're coming along for the ride.
I did something a number of years ago for the Daily Show, and they told me something as we were going to do a segment. They did an Alabama week, you
Right.
probably remember, and they said we have one hard fast rule here: we don't punch down, which really upset me because
You wanted to
that's all we do.
Right.
Is that? I mean, is there a philosophy that humor encompasses what?
With me, I'm more of an inclusive than exclusive person. I don't do a lot of punching down. I make fun of myself. I try to include the audience.
That shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, it's. See, that's good. That's very good. A lot of people didn't catch that, but my comedy man, I caught it. So, you making fun of yourself and then saying stuff that people can relate to and just keeping it clean, keeping it
Now,
southern
are you,
and relatable.
You're not going to work this show into your routine now, are you? Like, I was doing this show.
Something will probably end up being on there. Yeah. At some point, absolutely. But like I said, it's just going to be me, like, when people ask me about the show, I'm like, yeah, that's my guy, Paul. We go way back. That's been my boy for years. Absolutely.
Well, I have that. I mean, I spent so long in Birmingham that it's you always hear that I take it with you. I really do feel like I still live there.
Yeah, and we miss you, man. We don't run into you at the supermarkets and stuff, but we consider you one of our own.
I did that number of years ago.
Yeah.
I went to Walmart, and people would stop me, and I said, nah. I told my wife, I said, I go in there, sunglasses and a hat. We hadn't even gotten past the greeter.
Right.
He said, hey, Paul, what's going on? I said, no.
It happens, man. It's a very football knowledgeable city, man, and I tell everybody I'm always pro Birmingham. We got great food, great people, a wide assortment of potholes. We got everything.
Well, I'm going to start dropping your name. FunnyMaine is my new guy.
Absolutely.
Give him a hand.